Hey everybody, Cliff Ravenscraft here at Podcast Answer Man, and I'm currently broadcasting this as a Facebook live stream, but I'm recording it here locally just in case I might decide to use it later. But what I'm getting ready to do is a behind the scenes look at what I do for some of my podcasting A to Z students. Well, actually, I do a ton, and I'm certainly not going to be able to share all of it with you here in this live stream or this recording. But what I am going to share with you is just one thing I do for my students. And to do that, I'm going to switch over to a different camera angle. Actually, you're not going to see a camera angle at all. I'm going to switch over to my desktop. So you should be seeing my desktop now. And what I will share is a discussion thread that I've been having with one of my students here. This is what came in earlier today. Clint says, "Hey Cliff, a few equipment questions. I anticipate routinely having guests on the podcast connected presumably via Skype. Periodically, I'd like the ability to do quick interviews at industry seminars. As a general rule, there will not be a co-host on the podcast. I have about $500 budget. Here's what I'm thinking." And he's suggesting maybe the Audio-Technica ATR 2100 mic and windscreen, the Roland R-05 digital recorder, the mic stand, and the Mackie 802 VLC 4 mixer, which I wrote back to him earlier saying, "Hey, before I answer this fully, can you please watch the following video and tell me if you desire to go with the Roland R05 recorder or the Zoom H4n?" And I said, "Note, I have a full tutorial on the Roland R05. I do not yet have a tutorial on the Zoom H4n, as I'm only just now adding it to my equipment package. And here's the video that I shared with him on why did I switch from the Roland to the Zoom H4n. If you want to see that, I would imagine some of you would probably like to see this video. Let's do Roland vs. Zoom. If you want to buy okay, a little bit later he says, "Hey Cliff, I think I'll go with the Zoom H4n. It's a better product for the choice given what I'm doing." And of course, I agree with him given the fact that he is going to definitely be going out and doing face-to-face interviews and wants to be able to plug two XLR microphones into it in the future. It seems to be a better one for him, and that's why I was moving him towards the Zoom H4n given what he had told me previously. So I didn't want to just assume that he wanted the Roland. By the way, he could have definitely done what he wants to do with the Roland recorder. He would just need an additional piece of hardware. And there are a lot of different options, by the way, but I would, for those who have a Roland, they can do exactly the same thing by using something like the Beachtech DXA2T. Now, this device right here, I think it adds about $149, maybe even $199 to the cost of being able to do field interviews with the Roland. There is less expensive options, and I have those for my students and stuff like that as well. But I knew that he wanted to stay under the $500 budget, and so rather than having to buy a Roland recorder and equipment down the road to do field interviews, that's why I pushed him in this direction. Okay, I said, "Hey, I want to do this for you, but I need to ask you two questions. Do you have a Windows or a Mac computer that you're going to be using? And does your computer have an audio input jack?" And I told him many new computers today no longer have separate audio input jacks. Here's the back of an older iMac. Notice that there are two 1/8 inch ports. There's also 3.5 millimeter ports. Anyway, one is for audio out and one is audio in. So you'll see two of these on all of the older Macs, but on newer Macs, you'll notice they only have one jack. Now this one actually is headphones only, and there is no audio input. All of the latest model Macs, by the way, have what's called a combination jack. So it actually has audio and in and out in the same jack, but it doesn't work well for our purposes. By the way, when you have only a single headphone jack or even a combination jack, but there's only one 1/8 inch port, I always recommend my students purchase a Griffin USB iMic. You can get cheaper USB sound cards, but the Griffin iMic is one that I found works exceptionally well. It's what I use here in the studio, and I'll share that with my student here in just a few moments. But now, what I'm going to do is show you what I do for my students. So I'm going to clear that off to the side for just a moment. I am going to open up Photoshop. There you go. So now I can talk to you. I can look up whenever I want to look up, and I can look down. You'll see me looking down. All right, let's see here. I'm going to now open up my Finder window, and I am going to create a custom diagram recommendation for equipment for this student. And I should have an 802 set up here. That's actually, I think I'm going to use this one simply because that one has the Griffin iMic on it. Because I know I'm going to suggest that he get the Griffin iMic. The two of these are exactly the same, except that one has the iPad coming in, and the other one has a second microphone, which I can easily get out of there. So we're going to do the Mackie 802 with iMic, and I'm just going to open up that Photoshop file. All right, now the interesting thing here is that I need to find some of these layers here. And I'm specifically going to look for the layer that has the Roland recorder, and I'm going to take that one out. All right, and then I need to find the layer that has the lines drawn. So that's layer 6 here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my eraser, and I'm going to erase everything from right here. And now I'm going to look for the text for line in, and we are going to simply move that up here for now. All right, so the question is, I'm going to leave the second Heil on there, even though actually he doesn't have a second Heil. He even said specifically he's not going to do it. So since he's not going to have the second Heil, I'm taking the second Heil off. I like to make these as custom as possible, specifically for the students. And if I don't need to confuse them with options that aren't something they're considering, then I try not to confuse them. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and erase layer 6. We're going to erase that line to the second mic input. Now what we need is the Zoom H4n recorder. And the thing is I only need the back of the recorder. So I'm going to go into Photoshop Projects. I'm going to go into my equipment. I'm going to go into Items. I should have a Zoom H4n PNG, but that is the front of the Zoom H4n PNG. And you know what? I am going to use this one, but I'm going to copy the whole thing, and I'm going to paste it on top of here. Obviously needs to be resized down. Okay, but this is going to be resized here, and I'm specifically going to even kind of wash that out a little bit. And so I'm going to take the opacity of this particular device down. So it's kind of like grayed out into the background there. Now what I need is I need the image from the back of this thing. So I'm going to go back over to my web browser, and I am going to do a search for Zoom H4n, and right here is one. Let's see here. That is a very, you know what? This is perfect right there. That is exactly what I need. So we'll hit View Image, and I will just do File, Save Image As, and we'll just save that to the desktop as H4n back. And I'm also going to put the word Zoom on here because I'm going to put this in my items list in a little bit. Now, for me to be able to use that image, I'm going to need to do something else. Next, what I want to do is I have a little tool, a little program in here called Super Photo Cut. Hope this program still works. I haven't used it since I updated to the latest version of Mac, but we're going to assume that it does. And what this does is it helps you automatically remove backgrounds. In fact, I need to zoom out. And can I just do command? I can't do that. So here, let's just, yeah, it's command minus sign. All right, command back, okay. And there we go. So we'll just make sure all of that picture is selected. And as you can see, it's removing the background automatically with very little interaction from me at all. And then I am going to save this as zoom H4n back cut. And there we go. And then are you sure you want to quit? Yes. So now I have this image. I'm going to delete that image. Let's go ahead and pull up our Photoshop projects, equipment, and put it in our items. Now I won't ever have to do that again because I already have it right here. I just double click it, it opens it right up. Copy that bad boy right there and then paste it. And of course, we're going to zoom it down and zoom down even further. So right here. And yeah, so we're going to go like that, and then we'll hit the check mark to say that's good to go. And I need layer 6 to be on top of it because layer 6 is the drawing. So I'm going to move layer 6 up to the top here. And I need to change the color. Here we go, color picker. All right, so I just need to grab this green color, click OK, and now we have it. Okay, now what I need to do, now that I'm zoomed in, I'm going to go back to, I'm on layer 6. I still need that eraser. So we're going to take this and erase that, and we're going to grab this paint brush. It's going to go right into there. And I'm going to have to change the text of line in to black. So first I'm going to move line in down right here. And then I'm going to go to text and I'm going to click it all and we're going to change the text to black. And there we go. So now that is his diagram. So let's take a look and see what Clint said. He says he's got a few questions. Particularly, there's no co-host, but he will be recording in studio. He'll be doing Skype. So we're going to set him up with a mix minus. Oh, he did say Audio Technica. Let's get rid of that Heil. So we're going to go down here. This is why we have to check things. So we're going to get rid of the Heil microphone. And we're going to look for an ATR 2100 microphone. And one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm just going to zoom this way, move it right like that, and then hit boom. All right, let's go back. Okay, so he's planning on a Roland, well, he was planning on an ATR 2100. That's fine, we got that. We went with the zoom instead. He's got the mic stand, that's not going to be in here. He's got the 802 VLZ4 mixer, that's what we've got. What cables do I need? Cables are all here, so he's going to need a mic cable. He's going to need a CMR210, CMP 105, CMP 159, and another CMP 159. It's got all of the things there. So this is actually good to go. I have the PSD file, just in case I ever need to update it in the future. And then I have the JPEG image that I'm going to share with him. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to go right up here to my little cloud app. You can go to getcloudapp.com to get that software, but that allows me to just store images up on the web. And now I'm going to do, this is in Basecamp, this is the discussion thread where all of my students interact with me. So Clint, I've put together a custom equipment wiring diagram for you, and then type in larger, which what you just saw how it expanded there, that happened because of text expander. I'm going to hit paste. That's where the image is being stored on Cloud App or getcloudapp.com. Anyway, so that when I publish this, what you see there is a link right now that will actually turn into the image that I'm sharing with him. So we have that. Now, because I do this so often, I am going to show you just some of my little tricks of the trade that I've allowed myself to learn. But anyway, so wiring diagrams, what I need to do is I need to find a wiring diagram that's very similar to what he has going on with his setup. So bear with me as I go through here. That looks like the wiring diagram. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click through to where I did this diagram for another student. All right, and I'm going to bring this tab over from a computer screen you guys can't see over to here. Okay, so now because that link brought me here, it should have a description of all of the cables and some additional information, knob and button settings. Okay, and I should be able to copy all of that I gave to another student back in January of 2016 who had a very similar setup to this. And then what I do is I actually confirm that all of this is up to date and accurate for this student. So, Clint, I've put together a custom equipment wiring diagram for you. Click on the image for a larger version. That'll have the diagram there. Here is the list of cables and USB sound card that I recommend. Let's see here. I will describe the cables by the color as they appear in the diagram above. Now I should probably pull this up to confirm that these are right. So I'm going to take that link and I am going to open that image up here in another tab. So first of all, red, right there. Red, this is just a standard XLR mic cable and I gave him a link to one. You would use this to plug your, and see this is where I have to update things, ATR 2100 into the XLR mic port 1 of your mixer as shown in the image. Note if, and we don't need that. Note, your ATR 2100 microphone does come with an included XLR mic cable. You should not have to purchase this item. All right, let's go. The next one's going to be green. So green is right here. That's the CMR 210. Okay, so green. This is this HOSA CMR 210 cable, linked to that cable. This cable goes from the tape out of the mixer to the line input at the, and this is the not the roll-on recorder, line input, which is located on the back of the Zoom H4n recorder as shown in the diagram. Boom. Note, I highly recommend that you watch the digital audio tutorial. Blah, okay, well, that we won't worry about because I don't have a tutorial for the Zoom H4n. I'll personally help him with everything until I get that created. I actually may create the tutorial for him and it will be the tutorial. Who knows? We'll see. Anyway, Griffin iMic's USB sound card, because which of course is that white device. This is the white disc looking device shown at the top right corner of the diagram. Because you have a newer, not Mac, he's on a Windows computer. Oh, that's what I forgot to tell you. He says, when he told me, he says, I'll be using Windows. I've got 2 computers, one at the office and one at home. The one at home has the audio input, but the one at work does not. So I already knew that. And so because you have a newer computer, no, actually I'm going to put, because your work computer does not have, or does not come with a built-in audio jack, comma, I suggest the purchase of a Griffin iMic USB sound card. There's the link to it. This will allow you to bring audio from the mixer into the computer. Note this circular white okay, I must have already known that I needed to say that. Also note, this device has a setting on the side that should be set to line instead of mic. Third note, because you'll be using this USB sound card, you need to go into your Skype audio preferences in the software, use the I. Okay, we've got all of that. All right, so now we need what is this pink cable? The pink cable, this is the Hosa CMP159. There's the link to the cable. This cable brings audio from Skype into your mixer. The 1/8 inch plug will go into the out port of the Griffin iMic. The other will go into the it has two 1/8 inch plugs. One will go into the L and the R ports on line 7-8 of the mixer as shown in the wiring diagram. Okay, orange. Orange is the CMP105. Orange, this is the CMP105 cable. This cable is going to bring your voice from the mixer and send it to the person on Skype. The 1/4 inch plug goes into the aux send on the mixer as shown in the diagram. The 1/8 inch plug goes into the in port on the Griffin iMic. Okay, now, so we've told him about the red, we told him about the green, the pink, and the orange. Then there is blue, which was not on the diagram that I copied all of this from. So, blue. This is a completely optional cable. If you desire to bring in audio clips from an iPad or other tablet, you can use an additional CMP159 cable. And let's go back up here and grab that URL. I love what I do for a living. Can I just tell you guys that? All right. This would, let's see here. The 1/8 inch plug would go into the headphones jack of the device with the audio clips. I would then recommend that the other end of the cable with the two 1/4 inch plugs be brought into the L and R ports of line. Where do I have that in here? 5 and 6. 5-6 of the mixer. And then knob and button settings. Please note that the wiring diagram I've provided has a lot of arrows drawn. It's absolutely essential that all the buttons and knob match the arrows I've drawn. A green or a red arrow on the knob indicates where the knob should be turned. A green arrow on a button means the button should be in the up position. A red arrow on a button means it should be in the down position. Note, I just noticed I neglected to draw an arrow on the level knobs for mic channel 1. The level knobs for, okay, so I did not forget to do it on this one. So level knobs are the bottom knobs, level knobs are turning level on 7. Okay, so I did not neglect to do that here. Okay. So this is going to be a note. Turning the level knob on the mic channel 1 will control volume to your microphone. Turning the level knob up on channel 7-8 will control the volume level on Skype audio coming to your computer. Okay. Turning the level knob on channel 5/6 will turn the volume up on your audio clips. Optional, coming from a tablet or other device. Okay, note, pay very special attention to the aux knob. Line 7-8 must be turned all the way down. If not, note, on line 7, 8. Note, if you do bring in audio from a tablet using line 5/6 and you want the person on Skype to be able to hear the audio clips, you'll want to turn the aux knob for line 5/6 up to 12 o'clock. Okay, note, if you ever have a guest on Skype tell you the voice is too loud, okay. So we're all good, and so let's go back and make sure we've got everything he's asked. So he's got, I anticipate routinely doing this. Periodically, I'll do quick interviews at seminars. As a general rule, there'll be no co-host, or will not be a co-host. I have $500. This is where I'm thinking. So that should, what cables would I need? Many thanks. So, yep, that's everything. So that, my friends, is an example of what I do for my clients. That's just one question that says, Cliff, here's the equipment that I'm thinking about. This is what I want to do with my podcast. And can you tell me what cables I need? That's all he was asking. But do I just give them a list of cables? No, I go and I create a custom wiring diagram, bringing in the exact equipment they have. I draw lines to exactly where every cable goes. I make it color-coded. I explain every cable in detail. Not only that, but I actually draw where all the knobs and buttons should be turned on the mixer. And once they get their equipment ordered, and then and of course, all of this, making sure that I'm fitting with whatever budget they've told me. I've had clients say, Cliff, I have $100 to spend, and this is what I want to do. And I give them a recommendation. I've got $300 to spend. I've got $500 to spend in this case. I've got $2,500 to spend. And this is what I want to be able to do. Whatever there is, I take their custom information, I create custom answers for each student, and I deliver them this kind of service. And here's the thing, when their equipment comes in, they'll wire everything up, they'll hook everything up. I have tutorials in the course in Podcasting A to Z that walks them through the understanding of the basics of using an audio mixer, the basics of using a digital audio recorder. All of that stuff is explained in great detail in my tutorials, but if they have any questions at any point during the 4 weeks of my course, they just pop in a question and say, hey, Cliff, I'm scratching my head. I can't seem to hear my voice in my headphones. It looks like all the audio is going here, but it's just not happening for me. What's going on? And it's like, did you see that button there? Just make sure that you press that button down. Oh my gosh, I fixed it. I've been working on this for 25 minutes. I wish I wouldn't have wasted my time. I wish I would have just asked you as soon as I couldn't figure it out. But anyway, fun stuff. This is what I do for a living, my friends. This is Podcasting A to Z, and this is just one thing that I do for my students. And I, by the way, just launched the current session of Podcasting A to Z right now. I'm currently in day 2 of week 1, and there are 4 weeks. And by the way, I still have 3 spots available. If anybody's watching this and you want to launch a podcast, you're afraid that you just don't have the technical skills for it, let me get you over that hurdle. I mean, if Kay Kopit can launch a podcast where she purchased all of her own equipment, similar to the setup, actually, she has my full setup. Kay Kopit has the Podcast Answer Man equipment package. Kay Kopit is 75 years old, the most technically challenged client, student I've ever worked with. And folks, I've worked with thousands of people over the last 10 or 11 years. And if Kay Kopit can launch a podcast within 4 weeks, I promise you can too. Anyway, I just want to let you know, I have a few spots available. It's not too late to join. By the way, everything in this course is designed for those who are very serious about a goal of launching a podcast. Everything is designed so that by the middle of week 3, your podcast is online. It's ready to go. The 4th week of this course is literally there for people who drag their feet and get behind schedule. So even if you joined me today, Thursday, actually Thursday would be about the cutoff of when I'm going to shut things off on the registration. But you can go to podcastingatoz.com. and register today. I would love to be able to do some of this stuff for you. And again, this is just a scratching the surface. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Until next time, I encourage you to take everything you do to the next level.
Podcast. Answer Man.